Art on Demand is a production of the Cultural Arts Alliance of Walton County, brought to you with support from Alys Beach, 30A.com, and Florida Department of State, Division of Cultural Affairs. While these events are provided at no cost to you, we do ask that you donate what you can by visiting our website, culturalartsalliance.com, in order to help the CAA continue to foster creativity, employ artists, and bring you entertainment, education, and engagement through Art on Demand. We hope you love this virtual event.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Art on Demand. I'm Alexis Miller, the board president of the Cultural Arts Alliance and also the director of events for Alys Beach. I am joined today with Alexis Porte with Buddy Seafood to show you all the art of boiling crawfish. The first part of any crawfish boil though is the beer. Cheers, Alexis.
Cheers. So first things first, you have to have good company in order to have a crawfish boil. But second of all, you need your pot, you need your burner, propane tank, and a little bit of water, and a little bit of swamp fire. You want to leave that in there for about 20 minutes. Get all the spices and seasonings to open up.
And while the water is boiling, we leave the crawfish in a cooler with water to purge them and also keep them alive because we don't want to put the dead crawfish into the boiling water.
While rinsing the crawfish, you want to add a little bit of table salt to the water mixture so it helps the purging process and gets the crawfish real nice and clean. So we've already added the swamp fire to the boiling pot of water. Now we want to get some lemons, some jalapenos, can't forget the onion, garlic, and celery. We'll get these all chopped up. Then we're gonna add the potatoes because they take the longest.
So everyone has their own way of doing things, but this is the way that Alexis and I like to do our crawfish and all boils actually together.
So we like to add veggies to the pot of boiling water because it adds a lot of flavor that you wouldn't get with just the swamp fire and water.
And Alexis, most people don't put jalapenos in their boil with the swamp fire. Why do you like to put the jalapenos in?
Because I like a kick. So there's really no best way to cut the veggies. Chunks work. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to have flavor in the pot. Especially with the garlic, you don't even really need to cut it. Just leave them whole cloves. Yes. Want to peel off some of the excess skin that's on there, but really not much to it.
And let me tell you that when you get this garlic out of the boil and you put it on those potatoes, it is the best thing you've ever had, in my opinion, in my humble Baton Rouge, Louisiana opinion. Swamp fire is the absolute best you can find. What do you think, Alexis?
It has a nice kick that most seafood boils don't bring to the table. I find it a little bit more flavorful than a normal crab boil in a bag, but not as potent as liquid. You can find this at Buddy Seafood every day, 10 to 6, and we have everything else that will complete your seafood boil.
Well, she's putting that in.
All right, so it's very important to add your celery, lemons, all your other veggie fixins at the bottom of the pot, separate from the strainer pot. So then after you put your potatoes, corn, and crawfish, you're able to keep it separate, and there's no hassle. No fuss, no muss.
We use this paddle here for two reasons. One, so we can open the top without getting our hands burned, and two, so we can stir as needed.
And there's a third one, but that'll wait later.
So next we're going to put the potatoes in the boil, and these take about 20 to 30 minutes to boil. That's why they're the first things to go in. All right, so our next step is that we're going to add the corn and sausage. Now Alexis, why do we choose this andouille sausage over other sausages?
Well, it is a staple in Louisiana meats department, I would say. Not only does it have a great kick though, it also comes fully cooked, so you don't have to take long to prepare it. In the boil, you just cut it with the corn and throw it in. Oh, we're doing rounds?
I always do rounds. What do you do?
I do logs.
So I like to cut mine a little bit smaller so that we have more to go around and have little smaller bites.
I like to cut it a little thicker. Sometimes it gets lost in the sauce and you're able to...
Are you trying to tell me your way's better?
Just different.
So we like this size corn rather than a bigger cob because it's easier to, it cooks faster and it's easier to just take a couple little bites rather than having the big long corn cob. And it comes like this in the frozen section, so you don't even have to worry about cutting it.
Now we're gonna take the sausage and the corn, we're gonna throw it in the pot with the potatoes while that's finishing up, and then after that, crawfish time.
Woo, woo.
The claw shows no mercy.
And we're gonna let those soak for about 5 minutes and then add the sausage. And trust me, everyone's gonna prefer my smaller pieces.
Ah! Yeah. Perfect.
Now we've dumped the vegetables into the cooler. We're gonna let those steam for a little bit while we boil the crawfish. So me being from Louisiana, I like to add more swamp fire before the crawfish goes in. I like to do it behind people's backs so they don't know, but.
So next we're gonna take some crawditties. Oh, one's loose, one's loose. And another one's loose. Go ahead and dump those puppies in. You wanna make sure to not add too much of the water that the crawfish have been purging in, because it is doo-doo water.
And Alexis, why do you like to use a pitcher rather than just dumping it all in?
Well, A, I like my fingers. And B, it saves a little extra splash.
We gotta keep all that swamp fire in the boil pot. So now we just dumped all the crawfish into the boil pot. It takes about 6 minutes to cook, very short time for the crawfish. But Alexis, tell us how many crawfish we put in there.
So we have about 30 pounds, or a sack of crawfish, as most like to call it. It's normally good for about 10 to 12 people, depends on the crawfish eater.
All right, and now we're gonna put the crawfish back in the cooler to let them steam for a little bit. Steaming, you gotta add more swamp fire. So we've let the crawfish boil in the boil pot for about 6 minutes, and then we put it back in the cooler to steam for about 10, just really letting all those flavors come together. And now we are getting ready to feast. Alexis and I both like to dump the veggies out first, then put the crawfish on top so that people can get to the crawfish faster, because let me tell you, in about 5 minutes here, everyone's about to crowd around here and start going to town on the crawfish. And of course, as the raging Cajun that I am, you always have to add more swamp fire. All right, gang, crawfish ready. Yeah, normally I put 3 bags of that in there.
Paper towels.
During the purging process, we don't always pick out the dead ones like we want. After they're cooked, a great way of telling the difference between which one was already dead and which one was alive are the tails. This curved tail means that it was live whenever you went to cook it. The straight tail means that it was already a goner. Don't eat this. But if you're gonna eat one that was properly cooked, you wanna twist the tail, suck the head, throw that away. Pinch the fin of the tail, twist, pull the poop chute, and you shell it, and you eat it. So good!
Wow, well that was another successful crawfish boil. Cheers to us, Alexis.
Cheers, Alexis. For more information on our locations, you can find us at buddyseafoodmarket.com.
And if you liked what you've seen, don't be shellfish and donate to the Cultural Arts Alliance by going to theculturartsalliance.com.
Thank you for experiencing this episode of Art on Demand, presented by the Cultural Arts Alliance of Walton County, with support from Alys Beach, 30A.com, and Florida Department of State, Division of Cultural Affairs. We hope you explored your creativity and learned something new today. As the creative core of Walton County, the Cultural Arts Alliance of Walton County offers support, connection, and access opportunities for all forms of art, every variety of maker, all levels of learners and especially art lovers. Through performance, funding, and educational programs, the 501c3 organization directly connects the people of Walton County with the broader view, the critical exploration, and the answers only the arts have the power to provide. If you loved this episode, please visit culturalartsalliance.com and click the donate button to give what you can to help the CAA continue to bring you art on demand. And stay tuned for our next virtual event coming soon.